Hey guys, and welcome back to Kitchen 360. Today's recipe is one of my favorite. It's basically a fajita baguette, and I do this for dinner parties all the time because everyone loves them. So let's get started. So we're going to start off with the filling. I've started off by putting a couple tablespoons of mazola oil. You can use any oil you prefer. I've diced up some chicken breasts. I think these are about 4 medium-sized chicken breasts. And I'm going to saute them over medium-high heat. Make sure not to brown them because you don't want to dry them out. I'm going to cook them well enough, just not overdone. I'm adding a large onion diced. You can also finely dice it if you don't prefer the crunch of the onion. I've also prepared a little bit of bell peppers. So I've chopped some red and yellow peppers, and I'm going to add some fresh mushrooms along with it. I'm going to saute these for a couple minutes, probably 2 to 3 minutes. I'm not going to add any salt to them because I want them to keep the moisture and water in them. Otherwise it's going to become liquidy and the veggies wilt really easily. I don't want to lose that texture. So once I've sauteed them, I'm going to add my salt and my pepper. I'm using about half a teaspoon of salt, maybe a little bit more. And now I'm going to put in the fajita seasoning package. I'm going to use pretty much all of it. Now, depending on the type of fajita seasoning you're using, you may not even need to use salt. I happen to use low sodium seasoning, so a little bit of salt won't hurt. I'm going to give that a good stir and make sure all the flavors absorb in. Now I'm going to put in the sauce for this recipe. So I'm putting in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of sour cream. I'm also going to be using mayo, about 2 to 3 tablespoons of that as well. And finally, I'm going to be using the secret ingredient, which is about 2 tablespoons of Philadelphia cream cheese. I'm using low fat, half fat for all of these just because I know it's going to get a little heavy with the cheese on top. So I'm going to mix that all around, make sure you turn the heat off, and then as it's still hot, mix those 3 ingredients together, make sure the Philadelphia cheese melts, and get that texture in slowly with the chicken. This sauce is going to bring all the flavors together. The fajita seasoning is going to mix with that sauce, and it is going to be heavenly. So I'm going to prepare my baguette tubes now. I'm going to cut them off into sections. Make sure your baguette is nice and thick because you want to be able to cut through and make a tube out of it. So I've got about 6 pieces from my baguette. I'm going to cut off the end like you see here on a slanted angle. Now don't go throwing these little bits out. I'm going to show you how to use them at the end of the video. I'm going to start by putting my knife into the tube and cutting around the edges from the inside. I'm going to stick my finger in and pull that bread out. I don't want to go all the way through. Make sure you put pressure on that base because you want that dense, stable base to support that chicken. Now, once you've emptied out your tubes, you can go ahead and fill them out with our stuffing. So for starters, I'm going to start off with 2 to 3 tablespoons of the filling for each tube. I don't want to overstuff them because otherwise they'll be too dense when you bite into them. I like to have it nice and fluffy and moist. So to start off, I'm going to do 2 to 3 tablespoons, and whatever's left over is going to be divided among all of them. Alright, now that these are done, we're going to line them up in any bakeware that you have. And we're going to shred a little bit of mozzarella cheese and sprinkle that goodness on top. We're going to put these babies in the oven for 350 degrees for about half an hour, or until you get that oozy, nice melted cheese with the golden crisp on top. Now that my fajita tubes are done, I can work on my presentation. I've set aside some lettuce, red cabbage, and cherry tomato, which I think create a great contrast in colors. And that's all it takes to make these fajita tubes. Now remember in the beginning of the video how I told you not to throw away those bread chunks? Well, here it is. This is what you can use them for. I personally like to snack on them with a little bit of olive oil and thyme mix, maybe a little bit of dense yogurt, Greek yogurt if you want, cheese, peanut butter, anything that, you know, that's spreadable pretty much. That's the recipe for today. If you guys like this video, make sure to subscribe, thumbs up, and leave a comment down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Bon appetit!